Welcome back, everybody. It's Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Today I am going to be having some mixed media fun playing Pick 3 with Cree. I am working on number 9, which is turquoise, mica, and collage. So if you would like to see the other days that I've done, I have a playlist which is Pick 3 with Cree, and you can see the list of everything that I have done so far for the month. I'll be doing a live drawing for a giveaway surprise for everybody who participates and plays with me this month. So for every day that you complete the prompts and you post in Junk Journal Divas, you get an entry in the drawing. And I know one of the surprises that's coming for the winner is going to be a $30 gift card for Art House Whimsy. And so I'm playing with all Art House Whimsy papers and focal points today. So I'm starting off here, I'm just collaging, I'm putting some strips of paper down, and I grabbed these first of all because of the color, but they're also single-sided and kind of a thinner scrapbook paper, so I thought they would be great to kind of just cut into strips and collage for my background. Now, another thing that is going to be in the prize is a package of distress crayons. So I'm going to try to use those today. And some of the metallic ones have mica in them, but this is mica powder. I'm kind of sprinkling a little bit on my page right now. And I have this turquoise color, which is another one of the prompts, and the white, and it's just kind of a shimmery color. And then I'm going to add some water with my spray bottle, and just enough water so that I can get some movement with those powders and they start moving around a little bit. And I don't want to waste any of that good stuff that I put on there, so I'm going to take another piece of paper and squish it down onto the page. And so I have the beginning of another background paper here. I'm going to give this a quick dry, and then we can move on. And I'm going to start with the one that I squashed down because I want to go ahead and finish that and add a little bit more so that I have a background. I know the focal points that I want to use, which are these adorable little houses, and it's a springtime palette. So I'm thinking of that. So I'm just putting book pages down because this would be a good place to bring in distress crayons and use to add some color. So the book pages are kind of just for texture for right now. The top of this background page, when I cut this into tag shapes, it's going to be covered, a lot of the parts, but some of it will show. So I was trying to just figure out what do I want to put there, and I was thinking of clouds, so I thought let me just kind of put some gesso on here, and I'm just using a brush that was on my desk. It was kind of hard, something was drying on it. Sprinkling a little bit more of that white mica powder on, and I am just being messy, kind of spreading it around here. Now I will show you coming up here why this was a good idea, and so I'm going to keep this in mind as something learned. So I'm just cutting these into tag size that I want. And here you can see those adorable little houses. So there's a couple of different printouts that I have. I'm fussy cutting these out, but a couple of them I just used my paper cutter because it was a straight line going down. And then I'm going to tear that bottom part off so that it looks like it's sitting on my grass that I'm going to do. And then of course inking around the edges, always want to do that and not forget before I glue it down. I will put the links to all of the digitals that I'm using. I'll put those in the video description as I always do. Once I figured out how I wanted to place my houses, I'm going to go ahead and glue all of these down. And the only thing that I kind of saved in the background, except for the houses, were the trees because they're kind of going on top of the houses. So I saved little pieces of that. And now I'm just going to go along the very bottom edge of the houses, and I'm adding a little bit of this book page that I covered with green so that it just sort of looks like grass there. Now you can see I'm flipping the houses around. You guys, I cut all this stuff out of the videos, but I could sit and move things around for quite a long time. So that's why I can't imagine doing a live video. It might seem like I craft fast, but it's because I speed it up and I edit out a lot of stuff where I'm just playing around with different things and ideas until I figure out what exactly do I want to do. If you guys follow my channel, I made a whole bunch of tags for Halloween, and I also used a bunch of houses from Art House Whimsy. They were kind of spooky looking houses. So, and I love them. It was so much fun to put it all together. And so that's kind of what I was thinking here. It's just a lot of fun, and these little houses are so whimsical and cute. I'm going to ink the edges of these, and I'm really liking the color palette and the way everything's coming together so far. So I'm using these Springtime in Bloomsville, it's called. I cut out a couple of the focal points, these paper dolls. And now here is where I'm going to use my distress crayons and see how beautiful it looks where the gesso is. So adding a little bit of water just so that it moves around better. And another thing you could do, if you have a little cup with water, you can just dip your finger in it. I actually do that also. You could use a paintbrush. I just like using my finger. So I really like the backgrounds. I think this was perfect. Add that little pop of blue in the sky. And this one is the gold colored one. So this is one of the metallic ones that has the shimmer. And I'm just adding a little bit to the bottom part here. And I just sprayed a little bit of water on my parchment paper, and I'm just kind of dipping my finger in there and moving around the pencil. Softens the line, and if you keep wiping, it will just wipe right up. So as much as you want to remove or soften the color, you can. I'm going to start figuring out which focal points I want to use here. But I want to put some of my pink avocado dyed paper on the back of these. So we'll do that next. I thought that's perfect for this color palette. I also use a little bit, I don't know if you can see the shimmer that's on the avocado dyed paper, but I like to use a little bit of mica or something. I'll spray on a couple of pages. So that also has mica. So I'm just going to go ahead and back all of my tags here. Now that I backed all my tags, I can finish gluing down my focal points. And then I want to add some sentiments to my tags. And I wanted to play with some fun things underneath my sentiments just to add some texture and fun layers. So I have this gold stuff. I don't even know what it is. It's plastic though, and it doesn't glue very well. So I'll have to figure out how to use that. And then I also have this piece of blue. It is fabric, and it's got holes in it. So these are, I thought they matched the color palette and kind of add some fun interest to my tags. And since this gold stuff doesn't really glue very well, I thought I'll just glue my sentiments on top. Maybe that will help it stick down. So that's what I decided to do here. The blue piece of fabric with the holes in it, it seemed to just kind of fade into the background. So I was thinking that I could try to add a little bit of this wax to it, but didn't really do much. So I should have used a brush or something maybe, but that's okay. It did add a little bit, and I'm just going to use it as is. I also was playing around with it. I discovered that you can tear this, so that was good because that made it stand out a little bit more. And I'll do the same thing with this. I do try to put a little bit of glue underneath it, but I pretty much just put my sentiment on top of it and glue it down so that it also holds the piece of the blue fabric. I'm just finishing up the third tag that I have here and playing around with a little bit of this blue stuff again. And then just to add a little bit of interest around those edges, I am grabbing my glacier paste and just kind of rubbing around in random spots here, just little bits. So I do that to all of the tags. I've had this glacier paste for a while. It's by Nuvo glacier paste, and I have this gold color, and then I also have a black color, which is great for Halloween makes. But I would definitely get or consider getting more colors of it. It's kind of fun to use. I'm starting to pick out some fuzzy yarn and different things to use for the toppers. And I thought I would put grommets in these tags. So I've got yellow, orange, and this light blue to kind of stick with the color palette. And then I'm looking at these and I just was not really happy with the sentiments, and I decided to redo them. So I tried to pull up the sentiments. Luckily, it worked out and I was able to do it. I used my tweezers just to kind of get underneath there, and it definitely really helped that I backed the sentiments on an additional piece of paper, so it ripped up much easier. So I'm just redoing these. I wanted to back it with some dark paper, something like a black or a darker color that would make it pop a little bit. And I'm just using some paper towel to cover up that area. So I'm much happier with the way that this looks, and just decided to do it for the rest of the tags because of course they have to match. So now I want to just show a picture of each of the tags. And so here's one of them. And I'm trying to do a close-up on one side here so that you can see. And now I am going to take that other background paper and we're going to make tags with this paper. So the first thing that I'm doing is just going over this with a little bit of gesso, and this time I am using my card to scrape it on. And you'll notice I'm just kind of doing it at the top or towards the top of the tag because I'm thinking about my sky. So I'm going to make the same type of background and I need to have a sky in the background. So once again, I'm bringing in my distress crayons because I liked that technique used on the first tag, so I thought to try them here. And now you can kind of see a little bit of the difference between the first set of tags and these when you go over colored paper as opposed to the book pages with just, just adds a little bit of texture. And as I was playing with the houses, I was just kind of starting to think about how I wanted to use them or which tags I wanted to put them on. And then I remembered Flower Power, which is another set that I printed. So I ended up cutting out some of the flowers from this kit. Now these do have backgrounds, but I fussy cut just the flowers out. And this is just something really different and I liked it. So I decided to go with this kind of background. And now for my images. Oh my goodness, I can't even tell you how many I played around with, and I decided I wanted them to all be kids. So I stuck to that. So I end up doing 3 kids, and they're so cute. So now I can go ahead and glue all the pieces down. So I have my flowers and I have my kids to glue down. That sounds funny. And then there's also a couple pieces of leaves that I got, like just little additions to add in there. So I'm just going to finish this. Okay guys, I'm back and I just want to finish these guys up. These tags that I did. So I have a piece of my paper towel ruffles and I am going to put, let me see, this one's a little bit longer, so I'll put it on this one since there's more empty space up here. Position it, maybe do something like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue here. And then I have these little pieces of some pink lace. And I actually think I'd like this better if it wasn't such a chunk, one big chunk. So, I can't really tear this. Okay, so in those cases, I just cut it and then I just sort of pull on the edges to make it look a little more frayed, and there. That's better. And then I'm going to put this through my sewing machine. I feel like we could add some white. It would really pop on these. Okay, so I'm just going to fold it like this. And then I'll run my sewing machine over it, and then I can cut the loops like I do to make it look more frayed. There we go. Okay, so let's add paper towel to this one. Okay, hold on here. I'm going to tuck those edges. Let's do this again. There, something different. Our piece of lace. It's a little more distressed looking. Piece of this sequence stuff. My fuzzy yarn. Okay, so those are ready to go through my sewing machine. Then I just have this little man here. Okay, so I'll just cut some of these extra threads off here. So there's one. And then we have our little lady here. Okay, and then we've got the little girl. Make every moment count. And he says picture perfect. And then this little girl in her happy place. My happy place. Don't forget to sign your work. I forget sometimes, but that's why I made these little things to glue on so that it helps me remember. Okay, and there we go. These guys are finished. And then these three. So I'll show you more close-up of these guys. So there we go. I don't know how this is going to end up because this was turquoise, mica, and collage, and I just didn't know where I was going to go with it, and you know, just kind of start and see what happens. So next I've got weave, black and white, and mark making. So this should be interesting. I really don't have any plan in my head or ideas for this yet, so this will be fun. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you for number 10.